All right, you guys, on this one, we're going to be talking about rebuilding a styled set during a fill, or what I like to call rebuilding the base that you've made, especially when your client has a styled set. So, my client, Michaela, here, she has big, beautiful almond shaped eyes, and her lashes are really nice and thick, so they're pretty coarse. So, I love to style her lashes different ways, but our favorite is a cat eye, not super dramatic cat eye, but it is a cat eye nonetheless. So whenever I'm doing a fill, sometimes depending on her lash cycle, the lashes will shed in different places. So let's say this time on the right eye, she'll have lost more lashes, but then the next time on the left eye, she'll will have lost more lashes on that eye. So what I like to do is I like to go in and remove quite a bit of lashes because her lashes do grow out very long, and she's a 3 weeker, so she still normally has like maybe 45 to 50 depending, but one of her eyes might be just slightly a little bit more doesn't have a lot of lashes on it. So what you have to do is rebuild the base. So like I said, we're going to go in a cat eye style, and I'm going to show you how to do that. But right now I'm just doing the banana peel method and taking off the glue on this piece right here. So sometimes whenever you do the banana peel method, you guys, there could be like a little ball of glue stuck on the individual lash. And what you'll do to get that off is you will, like, see, like I'm doing there, you will take your isolation tweezers and you will hold the lash, and then you will break the bond with your tweezer that you normally place the lash on with. So you'll break that base and it will normally just slide off. So what I do is I go between both lashes and try to get them even, and then I go right into styling the set. Someone before asked me, would you use remover if you are removing lashes while you are doing a fill? Now, I typically wouldn't use remover when I'm doing a fill. I really like to use the banana peel method because, as we know, if we're getting a fill, most of the times the solution or whatever remover you're using may get on the other lashes, and more so particularly if you have a styled set, something with spikes or something that is a little more defined, something that takes quite a bit of time to structure out when you're doing a full set. And when you're going on and doing a fill, you want to work smarter, not harder. So I don't like to use any solution or any of that when I'm going through a fill. Now, I have seen a lot of people where they will just allow the lashes to stay on there, but when you have a styled set, it doesn't help. So think about it like this, you guys. So if her lashes are growing out, but there's still some that may not be grown out far enough to remove, I still would remove those, especially if they are spikes, because it will give it a uneven look when you are looking straight on at her lashes. And then by the time she comes back for her fill, her spikes probably will not be there, so you'll have to go in anyway and redo the base. But in the meantime, you want the set to look as even as possible. So when I'm doing something like a cat eye style or something like a kitten or even a fox style, what I'll do is I will remove a lot of the interior, the middle part of the lashes, even the ones that are not grown out. I'll remove some of those to make it even. So you see here, her left side of her eye, those lashes are, not as full as the right side. So that's why I was taking a lot more time on the right side, taking off more lashes to make it kind of even. So I took a lot of the spikes off. So that way, when I redo this side, especially on the left side, it will match more. And then I like to just go ahead at this point and take off a lot of the outer corners as well, because in a cat eye style, when we're rebuilding the base, the cat eye style, like, it needs to look fresh all the time. So if I have to, I'll go back and take off like one or two on the end, and I will replace those even if they don't need to be replaced, because like I said, by the time she comes back in her 3 weeks, those on the end are going to be pretty much non-existent. So you see me doing that right here, making sure to remove those. And yeah, we're going to get right into how to style. So yeah. Okay, right here, this is what I mean by detacking the tape on the back of your hand. Make sure your hands are clean. I always keep hand sanitizer next to me on my cart, and so I'll do that before I go in with the tape, so that way it's sanitary for her skin. So, like I said in the video, when you go to the layering video, I talk a lot about doing this in a 45-degree angle. And what I really like about this is you see all those lashes, like her hair, this is her natural hair color. This copper is her natural hair color. So this is the reason why I love this, is because you see it lifts and it pulls all those lashes out. So when I'm sitting behind her, it will bring that cat eye out more. Okay, so yeah, this is a really good, I like to do the outer corners first whenever I'm rebuilding a set to make sure that they match. So you'll see as I work through this part, I'm going to jump to the other eye to make sure that it's even, and then I'll go towards the middle and put some spikes just to kind of lay it down to see it start to come together. And then I immediately jump to the inner corners, and you'll be able to see how that will build out. So like I said, anytime I'm doing a cat eye in general, I do like to do the outer corners first, not so far in, but I do like to do them so that way I could see like how it's going to fan out, and it's easier to see how it's going to fan out when you're behind the client. All right, so another thing that I like to recommend for um, like cat eye styles or kitten eye styles. Now she has a nice shape eye. She has a true almond shape, big eye, like really beautiful eyes. But when someone has a little bit more of a downward on the outer, but they still can get cat eye, I would automatically take it down to a kitten. So right here, I'm using 16s on the end. So what I would do is on those last two, like I told you that I removed earlier, if I were to do it on someone who has a little bit more of a downward eye or a little fold there, I would immediately do 14 and then jump back in with 16. So I would do those last few 14, so that way it will not drag the eye down, if that makes sense. And something else that I want to bring to your attention really quick, between using C and D for cat eye looks, it depends on the client. If you know me, you'll know that CC curl is my favorite curl. And one thing I love about CC curl is it's not as dramatic as D. Now some of our clients, we like that, but what C and CC curl does is it lifts but extends, but D curl actually lifts the eye up. But what C and CC does is it lengthens, like elongates, so you're able to follow the natural shape of the eye, and you'll see that at the end of this video. So when you guys are doing styled sets, make sure that you're mindful of the curl pattern that you're using, because I know a lot of people like to use D or like to use, so just for instance, you guys, if you were using like a D, say you were using a D curl, if you were using D curl all the way throughout, it might look nice, but it's not going to look like a true like cat eye style. It's going to look more so like a regular natural set or a doll eye style. And what I mean by this is when we get down to the wispy part, I'll go more in depth with this, but I'm going to cover it here real quick because I'm doing a cat eye on her. But say that you were going to do D or DD all the way through, DD is actually going to appear shorter than a D or a CC curl. So 16 DD curl is going to appear smaller than your C or CC 16. It's going to look longer, right? Just because that's the way that the curl pattern is. So if you are mixing and matching your curls when doing this, I want you to be mindful of the fact that you may have to go up like a inch or millimeter or two whenever you're choosing your curl pattern. So say in the event that I did want to use a D on her outer, but I was using 16 throughout the interior. I would most likely use an 18 because it's going to look like a 16. All right, so I hope that that makes sense. So for more of that, just make sure you jump down to the wispy video and we'll talk more about that. But I just want to bring it to your attention so that way you can file that in the back of your head while I'm doing this set right here. But yeah, I'm just going to let you guys enjoy. But this is how I am bringing the set in. So I'm kind of connecting it to that middle, so that way, as you can see, when I brush it out, you'll start to see that cat eye forming, and therefore it makes it easier to choose the curl pattern or to shorten that curl pattern in the inner corners. See, you could already start to see the shape of it pulling out. So yeah, you guys enjoy the video. So right here, I think that this is the perfect time to address this, especially when you have clients who have blonde hair, copper hair. This is very important. Now, when your client is looking at her own lashes in the mirror, if you have not lashed the bottom layer, then she'll be able to mainly see her blonde lashes or her copper lashes come through. And this also makes the lashes look less full. Now, with her lashes being more coarse, it doesn't take long for me to get her full. It doesn't take me long to make her lashes look fuller. But I want to stress this to you guys right here because this is something that I had a trouble with when I first started out doing lashes, especially on clients who had blonde hair and blonde lashes, because from the back you can't see like the fact that you missed all those lashes underneath. So this is why I always, in every one of my videos, I always show you guys, it doesn't matter what client I have, I make sure that I show you how I lift the top up, and then you can usually see all the lashes that you missed underneath. So I want to tell you guys that you don't have to always lash so much in on the top in the middle layer. It's very important that you get the lashes underneath, because to be honest, those are the ones that are going to leave first. Those lashes on the third layer, if your client has a third layer of lashes, not every client has one, but if she does, those lashes are going to be the ones that are leaving first, and those are going to be the ones where she herself is going to notice the gaps. And even if we can't see it, it's different when you see it, and you know what I'm talking about. If you've had your lashes done before, you're able to see the gaps underneath when you're brushing out. You're able to see the spaces, and this is what causes a lot of people to lack retention when they are coming to get their lashes. I remember I used to have so many clients come back to me when I first started, and I'm like, why do they not have good retention after like a week and a half? And I'm like, girl, you missing the whole bottom lash down here. You're missing the whole bottom like layers. So for her, actually, what I like to do, and once again, we'll talk about this in the wispy, but I like to skip a lot of her second layer and lash a lot of her bottom. If I could lash all of them on the bottom layer, I do, because like I said, she'll be able to see it. Her copper hair, she'll be able to see it on the way through. And also when you have that lighter hair color, it's easier to see the gaps when the lashes fall off. So to not get her as full, because I use 0.03 on her, I go ahead and just skip a lot of the second layer, or I stagger it like I talk about. I stagger the lashes between the second and the third layer, so that way it just appears more full than it really is. So it gives the illusion. But I urge you guys to make sure that you are lashing a lot of the bottom layer of lashes, so that way it helps with your client's retention. This is my top retention tip, and this is where I started to see the game change on my lash game, was when I was able to start understanding, where that retention issue was coming from. So this is something to be mindful of, and I hope that this tip helped, because I know this was the one thing that helped me a lot, was realizing this. All right, so I'm going to let you guys enjoy the rest of the video, and her lash map and all will be at the end.